I would like to show you a second game this morning, and this will be a game also in the Hawaii State Championship, and this one is in 2001, and my opponent is expert Chris Hamada. And the game went like this, and I was black. So since earlier the first game is all about the BOGO Indian and dark square strategy, where white was able to nullify black's desire to control the dark square by moving the pawn on e5 immediately. And here, I was black this time, and d4, I played knight f6, c4, e6, an invitation to the Queen's Indian where my opponent obliged, knight c3, and bishop b4. Now we have a Nimzo Indian proper. Okay? Now you see here, the good thing about the Nimzo Indian is it facilitates early castling, it completed development, it controls the center. So those are the three principles in opening play. Control the center, develop your pieces rapidly, and castle early in the game. He adopted the Queen C2 line, or what we call the Capablanca variation, named after former world champion Jose Raul Capablanca. He played this exclusively back in the early 1900s all the way to the 20s and 30s. So after Queen C2, now you know that this is still the main line even in our current time. At this time in age, they still consider Queen C2 as the best in the position. So after, what should you play? Black, castle. In 4 moves, you already achieved the principle of opening play. Very good. Here he played a3, asking the question to the bishop and declare your intention. Now what should you play? Now, whenever you play the Nimzo Indian, you should be willing to part with your dark square bishop and do not waste time or tempo retreating or withdrawing it back from the battle. And the idea of Queen C2 or the Capablanca variation is not to be inflicted with double pawns. Because after bishop takes c3, white can simply play queen takes c3. Okay? Now compare this position in other variation of the Nimzo Indian. For example, class, just a quick glance in the position. If he never played queen c3 earlier, for example, he played e3, which is the Rubinstein, and after castle and after a3 and bishop takes c3, what we have is a double pawn. Correct? Now we have to understand that black surrendered the bishop pair, but in the process he gained something in return, and that is in the form of the double pawns, and see a sort of compensation. Okay? Here in the Capablanca variation, such is not the case, because white can just capture with the queen and kept his contour of the position, his pawn structure, quite intact. Okay? So that's the difference. If I were you, you're white, and you paste the Nimzo Indian, play the Capablanca variation. The great guy Capablanca know what he's doing. So, queen takes c3. What did I play here is should you find a move for black. Anybody? Anyone? What is your continuation here? And a lot of players will probably frown on my next move, and they will say, they will crucify me for this one. This is
B6.
B6 is the main line. Very good, Mitch. Who said 94? 94 is my move. Ruben, you just move another piece. You violate the principle of moving the same piece twice in the opening. Yes, it violates the principle. You need them. But here, I have an idea. And what is that? Attack the queen. And facilitate the rook that is on f8 to be used immediately in the game.
F2.
So after queen c2, what is our next? F5. How do you like that? We have the rook going to f6. That's a favorite of Perry, right? And you see here, after f5, we have a dominating position on e4, which is difficult for white to actually kick out. For example, after f5, f3, what's going to happen? Anyone?
Queen h4.
Question?
Yeah, question. So you just gave up your dark square bishop.
Mm-hmm.
But I've noticed you're just pushing the pawns onto.
Very good. That's what I want to hear from my student. Ruben, you said that if your bishop disappear off the board, somebody has to take the job of the missing bishop. Now here, black adopted a different plan. The first plan in the position here, Monsignor, right, is to place all your pawns on dark square. Hence, the main line is b6. All right, that was the first plan in the position. The second plan in the position is to create an e4 outpost. These are the plans in the king and the Nimzo engine. The second plan is what I adopted. Here is a different story. We will play light square strategy even though we're missing the dark square. And because of that light square strategy and our bishop that is in the board, we will play this type of formation with control in the light square. This is what's going to happen. This was the plan. And what we have is a light square strategy with a sole dominion of the e4. And that is what I'm trying to achieve in the position. And you will see it in a moment. Okay? So, in a given position, there are at least one or two plans, good plans that are involved. And you have to make a choice based on what you want to achieve in the game. Right? To be safe here is to play b6. To be the adventurous is to play knight e4. And you know what? Curiosity kills the cat. Or when you play something like this, you are really throwing caution to the wind. You have to be ready because in life you need to take risks, just like in a chess game. Right? You have to create a risk. And I said to myself, I'm playing an opponent who is an expert. And I'm at that time I was 2100. I said, I will adopt a different strategy since most of my opponents know my idea of placing all my pawn because I'm an adherent of Nimzovich principle, right? So here I changed my plan completely just to prevent my opponent's preparation. You see, psychology plays a vital role in chess games nowadays. So f3 is not possible because of why? Queen h4 check, and suddenly white can resign here actually. Because how you gonna stop the... If you play g3, what's going to happen? Knight takes g3 and the position is resignable for white. Why? You may ask. After capture, queen takes h1 and all the rest of... Can we trap the queen here? No, it's not possible. Can we trap the knight? You know, all we have to do is bring the rest of the army, and there's no way for him to trap the black queen. Okay? So, that's understood. The knight can't be driven away from its magnificent outpost class. And that's something to worry white for a while. You know, take it from me, when your opponent has a far advanced piece close to the proximity of your own king, be mindful of it, because that will suddenly create some kind of problem in your position. If you can drive it away, drive it away. But here, it's not the case. It's not possible. So what did he play? He played knight f3. And now next move, with regards to light square strategy, b6. So now you see, black's idea and plan are clear. He is erecting a light square strategy. Okay? Now, the dark square is not totally bad because one of these pawn will go here, hence creating some sort of combination dark square and light square. Okay? So it's not totally light square strategy. But for the meantime, let's start first with securing this e4 spot. So after b6, e3, okay, slowly he's bringing his forces. Bishop b7, Look at the coordination. You will see in most of my game, a game of your teacher, is a lot about harmony and coordination. You see that a lot in my game. I try to harmonize my pieces in a way that they will work together as a team. Okay? Because if they don't play as a team, they will always be going under. Remember that one time Lakers have so many superstars in there. Remember that? They have Karl Malone, they have Gary Payton, they have Kobe Bryant, they have Shaq O'Neal. They're supposed to be unbeatable, correct? That is not the case. What happened? Everybody wants to be the best. Everybody wants the ball. Everybody hugging the ball. Nobody wants to share. They don't work as a team. That was the decline of the Lakers. That's what happened. When you have so many strong players, here you just need to make them work together and let them know what is your job in the position. Okay? So here, after bishop b7, bishop e2 was played because he said, I am not going to achieve anything in bishop d3. If I capture, now his bishop will be strong. Now, question here, class. Where should the other knight go? Now, you have to envision already by now how to continue a game plan for that horse.
After d6?
You have to play d6, knight d7, and knight d8. You have a dream position. This is what you should achieve in your chess game. All containing a plan and a strategy. Continuation is the key. You need to have a continuation always in mind. What to do with the other pieces. And you will see here a picture of harmony and coordination. You should apply this in your game. Okay, so let's go back. After bishop e2, what was played? d6, castle. Of course, here you must be wanting to play just knight f6 immediately, but white already committed so early in the game. And one of my plan after f5 earlier was the rook lip, and so here I played rook f6. After rook f6, the arrival of the rook in any of these two squares, g6 or h6, will create some kind of attack on the king, even though he has two defenders there. So for example, after rook f6, knight d2 was played. What else can he play in the position? Knight d2. Where should you go? Rook g6 now. This is what's going to happen. If he play g3,
why did he play knight?
he has to neutralize this knight, remove the knight on d4 that is really bothering. After knight rook g6, after knight d2, we played rook g6, so that after knight capture, what we're going to have is bishop takes or rook takes.
Oh yeah, and then you have the
After here,
and then
bishop check. That was the idea of the rook lip. Very beautiful, right? And all a result of the coordination of your forces. So here, let's go back to this position. So that's not possible. It was a beautiful idea for. So that knight there and that bishop here really creates a lot of problem for white. For example, if we play g3 here instead of capture, he play g3. What's going to happen? Queen h4.
wait. Is the rook spinning?
Okay, because it's spinning.
If he had to move that knight.
If he captures the knight this time, queen bishop takes. Where does the queen go? For example, bishop d3. We have another incredible mate, class. Check.
Oh, yes.
These are all the pitfalls and traps in the position. And after here, we have rook h6 check. And after here, we have rook h1, and we delivered the checkmate. The mailman is there. He delivers. These are the beauty of this position. It's all because black coordinated his forces so well that a lot of tactics, traps, and pitfalls are available. It's a landmine in there that your opponent has to be careful treading. And you see here, after rook g6, let's go back to the position. So these are the danger that he is facing, correct? The only player that I know that plays this system nowadays is Michael Adams of England. And this was played after rook g6. Sorry, there is a knight here. We have a sudden discovery later on in the game. So he played f3. And after my next move, my opponent has to resign. And this is a game 40 in 2 moves. I will end here. Can you spot the move?
Maybe queen g5.
Queen g5 attacks g2 and e3. And he said, he shake his head, he said, he throw his pieces like that and he resigned. Because even if he can get out of this, for example, fg3.
You take E3 with the.
e3 we check. We can actually capture this.
Yeah.
Rook f2 would be better than pawn g3.
Knight takes. And the mate cannot be prevented, correct?
Let's try rook f2.
If rook f2, instead of g3, knight takes,
King takes.
king takes, queen takes g2 check.
And now king e1.
Yeah, but of course, you still want to play this with in the presence of all these people watching you. What a pitiful position you are. Why don't you just resign? Right? Everybody will tell you.
You're down a piece.
Well, we are up material with the king dancing in tango here on this side, with the rest of the army watching in horror as their king is being mutilated.
Now queen takes
A very,
h2.
I'm sorry for the graphic words that I've used.
Queen takes h2.
But anyway, I hope everybody enjoys the game this morning. So, see you again next time. Or see you on YouTube. Okay. Very good.